Hello, welcome to myself, Max McGillivray of Beanstalk. Got a really fascinating broadcast today, and something that we within Beanstalk are really passionate about: training and development. Some of the businesses that we've been lucky to be associated with over the years, they've got to where they are by training and development, by looking to invest in their staff, because they know by investing, they're going to get a long-term gain that's going to be to their benefit. So what we wanted to do was really promote a key group that we've come across called the Apprenticeship College. And on that basis, I've just got to call in the amazing Tilly. Tilly, can you come in? So Tilly Allen is the sales director at the Apprenticeship College. Tilly, say hello to everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Fantastic. So I'm just going to give Tilly, if it's okay, I'm just going to give what I call the big rah-rah about your business, because I think it's really important for people to hear, either live or on our podcast or on YouTube. So the official title for today's broadcast is How to Upskill Your Staff and Boost Supply Chain Efficiency with the Apprenticeship College and their Supply Chain Leadership Scheme. So we're really proud to be promoting the team at the Apprenticeship College because they're one of the UK's leading apprenticeship providers and can help you to fully utilise your levy. And we're really going to come into this a little bit later with Tilly. Utilise your levy and develop your staff, delivering a measurable return on investment. So many organisations in the FMCG and Fresh Foods sectors have seen massive changes in the stability and reliability of the supply chain over recent months, as we all know. While these challenges remain ongoing, the demand from customers is increasing, with more and more people switching to online deliveries. So what do you reckon, Tilly? That the only thing you can really predict is change, isn't it? It's change. So in order to cope with these pressures, many businesses are rapidly recruiting new staff into supply chain roles. Meanwhile, more senior staff have been encouraged to take urgent action to boost supply chain efficiency and reduce costs wherever possible. So the question is, how do you support this vital team to achieve its goals while growing so quickly? Enrolling your key staff in the Supply Chain Leadership Apprenticeship can give them valuable skills to boost the efficiency of your supply chain ongoing. And that is absolutely vital in today's ever-changing times. And through the Apprenticeship College, you can discover how you can start training right away using existing funds in your apprenticeship levy pot. So what we've done today, what Tilly and I have done today, is we've got some key individuals. We've got a great guy called Simon Thomas from the Quantec Group, which is part of the Apprenticeship College. And we're going to have a deep dive with him about the training aspects. And we've got the brilliant Mark Burrell, Commercial Director of Moran Logistics. And we've got the excellent Sabre-Louise Inns, who's the Senior Transport Shift Manager at Marine Logistics. Well, why am I talking about them? Let's get them all in. Simon, Mark, Sabre, could you all come in, please?
Hi.
Fantastic. So Simon, just could you explain a little bit about yourself and your role within the Quantec Group, please? Yeah,
sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Simon. And I suppose it's important to know that my supply chain background stretches back 20 years now. So when I had a full head of hair, I started in supply chain operations, and it quickly fell out because that's supply chain, right? It's pretty busy, pretty exciting and under pressure. And for 20 years, I worked in supply chain operations across different multi-temperature channels and in supply chain head office roles with Asda as well. But now in 2014, got a chance to do what I love, which is learning and development. So that brought me together with the Apprenticeship College to co-create some of the stuff that we're talking about today.
Fantastic. Okay, Simon, let's keep the audience baited wanting more. So we'll come back to yourself and Tilly in a minute. Mark, Sabre, hello.
Hello. Hi, Max.
So Mark, give us a bit of a background on yourself, please, and also Moran Logistics, please.
Okay, so my background's been in logistics for 23 years, a little bit like Simon, although I've managed to retain my hair. Although it's going a little bit grey at the sides now. So I've generally been in the parcel sector, made a decision to come over into a new sector, into FMCG, approximately a year ago. Found the sector really exciting. So I'd sort of spent 23 years moving around, doing various roles in the UK and then luckily in Europe, and then landed here at Moran Logistics. And it's a really exciting place to be, working with some of the largest retailers in the sector. So
So just give a bit more of an understanding for us for your business. If I was a consumer, how would I? What are the touch points? How would I be involved with your business? What would I be touching that you've touched?
So, I mean, it's interesting because at the moment, most of the exciting things I do involve visiting supermarkets to get out and about. And virtually everything that goes into supermarkets, food-wise, will have touched some of it at some point in that supply chain. So we're moving milk into our largest product is milk and dairy products. So milk going into Asda, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, etc. All the big supermarkets, Tesco's, is all coming through some of our facilities, or our drivers are picking it up direct from dairies and delivering that product straight in.
And Mark, just give us an understanding of the size of the business. How many depots? How many in your team? How many of your colleagues do you have? How many vehicles do you have on the road?
So we've got 8 operating locations. To give you an example, I mean we've very recently had 5,000 pallets of Lurpak in a warehouse. So wow. Virtually every Lurpak that's coming through the country at some point we were touching just leading up to Christmas. As we were dealing with Brexit volumes. So that gives you some size and scale of some of the products that we move. We've got over 350 vehicles out on the road.
Wow.
So our largest location up in Leeds has got 100 vehicles running out of there every day. Around about 600 employees. But yeah, so it's quite a very exciting time. We're the 43rd largest logistics business in the UK. And for the last few years, we've been in the top 10 for growth. So really exciting place to be.
Yeah, and that's pivotal. That comment about you being in the top 10 for growth, and that all comes down to people, Mark, doesn't it? It's all about the people. You've got to have the right kit, but it's all about the people being able to take that product, that logistics, and create magic with it.
Exactly that, Max. And I guess one of the benefits here is it's still a family-owned business. The owner's still very hands-on, and the benefit of having that sort of lean leadership structure means that investment decisions happen quickly. And I've been able to invest in my team. I've built a new commercial team here, but then also persuaded very easily the owner that we needed to do some further investment and development in the existing team that we had in place. And that's why we got in touch with the Apprenticeship College and sort of started that journey.
Well done, Mark. And that's a conversation for another time, isn't it? About how quickly you can progress a business like yourselves, because it's family owned and you don't have a big corporate structure and all the issues that we've all been afflicted with in previous lives. So Mark, it's great to hear from you, but we want to speak to the future. We want to speak to Sabre. So Sabre, you could have gone anywhere career-wise. You're into this fantastic business of logistics. Why are you into logistics, please?
Logistics isn't for everyone, but you're either made for it or you're not. Logistics to me is exciting. Every day is a school day. Every day is something different, and you don't have that 4 o'clock door for certain.
Fantastic. And Sabre, we'll come back to you a little bit later when we've investigated a bit more about the course. And Sabre, why I'm really glad to have you on is because you are the future, and this is what this whole broadcast and this is what the Apprenticeship College is about, trying to find. Sabre, if we could put you through the photocopier and get another 50 of you, that would be fantastic, because I expect there'll be a number of businesses throughout the UK that would love to employ you and your peers and colleagues. So
to make my life easier, Max, if you find a way of doing that, let me know.
I don't think it's the right analogy to use, but I think everyone knows what I mean. So Mark, if it's okay, if you could just turn off your video, because we're going to go and now talk to Tilly and Simon. So just to explain my journey for everyone with the Apprenticeship College and the contact group, back last summer, we hosted a broadcast for a group called MDS, Management Development Services. And if you haven't heard of them, they're a really interesting training group. And they major on the fresh produce sectors in the UK. And it must be some 20, 25 years ago that the fresh produce industry came to this view that the lack of training and development within fresh produce was causing a problem, because there wasn't the younger generation coming through. So about 30, 35 fresh produce companies came together, they put some money in the pot, and they created MDS, Management Development Services. And the way that they work is that they basically set up a training scheme, and they find the best of the best graduates coming out of the colleges and universities. They then put them on a 2-year apprenticeship scheme where they do 4 secondments in 4 different companies, and if there's an individual is obviously going to be commercial, then make sure they have a secondment in technical, make sure they have a secondment in planning, make sure they have a secondment in growing before they do a final secondment in commercial. And MDS, like all businesses, have done this. And I was actually quite worried about them up until a few years ago. They then got a new management team in. They got brilliant CEO Safia, and got a great marketing admin manager Kirsty, and the chairperson is Christine Taken, CBE, who's now used to be the grocery code adjudicator and is now chairperson of Red Tractor. What they ascertained very quickly was that with the scheme that they set up, they were missing a trainer. They were missing a key training business. They couldn't do it themselves. They knew they had to outsource it. So they outsourced it to Graham Howe. Well, I'm going to let's pass it over to Tilly. Tilly, just give us a bit of a background to the Quantic Group and the Apprenticeship College, because I've seen the huge success that's happened within MDS. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Tilly, and Simon, feel free to jump in as well. Just let's talk about the business and the Apprenticeship College, just how it's been so successful, please.
Yeah, so I mean, the Apprenticeship College has been around for 6 years now, and you mentioned Graham there, a key person to the success of what we do. We are an apprenticeship training provider. We are on the Apprenticeship Training Register, and we specialise in delivering apprenticeship programmes that make a difference. And I think that's the key. The training we deliver is designed to make a real difference to what people do in their practical job. And that's why it's so successful, because they're real skills that people can use in real time. And you know, there are lots of different apprenticeship subjects out there, and lots of different ways of doing it. But I think we found a way with our trainers, specialist trainers, to deliver that in a motivational and exciting way.
And let's talk to one of these specialised trainers. So what a segue! It's like you're professional, Tilly. So Simon, but why did you step out of industry? Why did you become a trainer? Why did you align yourself to the Apprenticeship College?
Yeah, first of all, thanks, Tilly, for the compliment. I'll pay you for that one later. I think for me, when I was a supply chain manager, that the most rewarding part of my role every day was helping people to learn and develop and grow and to do new things. And when I reflect back, actually, when you're in a supply chain operation, that can be quite a difficult thing to do because of the pressure that the operation puts on you every day. To actually have that capacity to step out and to learn and develop as an individual can be quite difficult, just because it's really pressured, isn't it? A supply chain in food and FMCG especially. So I think that was really what sparked me to getting into learning and development, was that the joy I felt helping people to transform and to change and to grow. And then coming on to that, one of the things I like to specialize in is, as Tilly said, to make learning an experience for people, to make it more engaging. And really that's the beauty of what we're trying to create here, because, you know, on this supply chain apprenticeship, we've got theatre-based actors who come in and run scenes. We've got videos, we've got masterclass speakers from industry excellence. You know, the amount of time and care we've taken to put this together to make it engaging is actually one of the things that I really love about it.
And I just need to top and tell my intro about Graham, because we did this broadcast for the MDS scheme, and Graham came on, and you could just see that Graham was a masterclass in the respect of that training development. And I always come back to that point that, and we've all met these individuals within business. What's the point of training and development? I just pay these people, expect them to do what they're told. I remember years ago going to a specific course at Cranfield University, and the first slide they opened up with and the final slide that they opened up with was basically a graph showing that those companies that invest in training and development see far better returns in everything, in the way of turnover, increased profitability, and staff retention. And so it's an absolute no-brainer as to why you would not invest in your staff, especially the staff retention element. And as we said in the intro, there's so much pressure within the supply chain that there's the phrase, so there's so much profitability held up in the supply chain, and you've got the likes of Mark and Sabre, who've got so much pressure on them, and if they are trained by yourselves to actually get the maximum out of themselves, and also for the likes of Sabre to say that she really enjoys it, it's going to be a win-win all round. So just help me with let's talk about this funding bit, because if there's barriers for people to not invest, because it's difficult in the sector, isn't it? Because it is a low margin sector. It's not like we're all making iPhones and walking away with 8 billion every 3.5 minutes. It's very margin pressured. So how does it work? What is the funding available, Tilly, for this?
Yeah, and I think that this is the really key thing here. There's this big opportunity out there. And I think it's fair to say that lots of businesses either don't even know about this opportunity or are under the impression that to take advantage of it is time consuming. And that's not the case at all. And that opportunity is called the Apprenticeship Levy. And for those of you out there that don't know, in 2017, the government introduced the levy, which means that businesses who have a payroll over a certain amount, 3 million, every month will be paying 0.5% of their payroll into this magical pot.
Wow.
And that pot can be used to train your staff.
Wow. Okay. And Tilly, Simon, do you think it's actually not that known about that levy pot?
In my experience, yeah, I don't think lots of people understand that there's this pot of money that's building up every month. The only way you can use it is to train your staff. And the key thing is, if you don't use it, then you lose that money. So,
okay. Again, it's a no-brainer. It's a complete waste not to deploy that because you basically earned it. Okay, so we get that, so it could be funded by that. So now what we need is a really good training provider. So we found the Apprenticeship College. Simon, if I come to you as an employer, I've come across this levy pot, and I'm really enthusiastic about training up my team on the Supply Chain Leadership Apprenticeship scheme. Just walk me through it. What's involved? I hate the phrase, the elevator pitch. You know I was going to say that. Just give me an understanding as to how it works, please. Excite me.
Oh, get ready, Max. Here we come. No, I don't have an elevator pitch. I'll tell you what I'm passionate about, and that is helping businesses to get better at what they do through engaging their people. And one of the best things about how it works is that it's really chunked up into bite-sized components and modules, and each one of those we work really hard to embed into the business and into the person. And so what you'll find is that actually we go to great lengths to actually support learners to actually embed the learning in their job. And that's much, much better for me as someone who's passionate about helping people change than actually just giving someone a one-day course or a residential. And so really, that's one of the fundamental points about supply chain apprenticeship, is that it does deal with growing people's knowledge, but that's only a small part and parcel of the learning challenge. The learning challenge is about how do we help people to do it? How do we help people to embed it? And that's where the supply chain efficiencies and the return on investment is.
Wow. So it's a bit like that comment that we always hear about. We all remember one amazing teacher at school, but this is like the next level up. So you're not treating people like numbers. You're definitely treating people like names, even more so. So you're not looking for. I'm going to make a terrible example. Next door, there's a great business to me that's a training business, and they train people on health and safety, and it's a great business. But it's just a conveyor belt, because they're coming in. It's 110 quid a day, and it's just a form filled. For you guys, you're just the polar opposite, aren't you? So you're looking to take these people on, see where the weaknesses and strengths are, treat them as individuals, and look to take them to that next level. Simon, would that be correct? Yeah,
100%, Max. I totally endorse what you've just said. It's about building a learning relationship rather than just a one-off meeting. And so what we're doing here is we're helping people to embed the knowledge, but then actually do something with it, because we're creatures of habit, aren't we? Humans are creatures of habit, and we'll resort back under pressure to the lowest common training denominator. Yeah. And so what we have to do is work really carefully with people to change that habit so that it becomes sort of baked into who they are, I suppose.
Yeah. Tilly, he's good, isn't he?
Isn't he?
Yeah, don't Simon, can you give me some examples of some really good training that you've been involved in, that you've seen real life examples? I've got this feeling that you got some really good ones bottled up, and then you want to tell us.
Yeah, I'm going to share some of the stuff we do with our actors in the supply chain apprenticeship. So we have a communication and collaboration module. And we get the actors in to actually role play out different scenarios that supply chain people might see in their day-to-day work. And then really cool stuff we can do with those actors. So actually we do a stop-start. So actually the delegates actually act like a director to say, stop, and then get a chance to change how the actors actually interact in that scenario. They get a chance to actually sit in the place of the actor and actually do it how it should be. So there's some really cool stuff we can do in a supply chain sort of setting that actually makes a huge difference to people in terms of engagement and application.
And Simon, do you feel that the people that you're training, a lot of younger people are derided because they're all snowflakes and they're not responsive, and they just want to get home and play on the Xbox or walk into the fridge? Do you find that the bulk of them that you're dealing with are positive, are enthusiastic about the training that you're looking to give them?
Yeah, totally. I would say that. But also, one of the things I've been learning is that actually apprenticeship is no longer in an age bracket. Okay, so when I was a lot younger, you thought of the word apprentice, you thought of someone who was perhaps in their 20s or a school leaver. But now that myth has absolutely been blown out the water. Because, you know, in the UK, I think the oldest apprentice is 76 years old. And so if they can learn, then we all can, right?
Yeah, and also there's this as a conversation for another time, but university. I've got 3 kids, and I've got one kid who could easily fly through university, but actually he's more determined to go straight into business. And apprenticeship would look to be, and you've got the likes of MBAs. MBAs, what's the point of going away? MBAs are fantastic things, but what's the point of going away for 2 years at 30, 40, 50,000 pound of cost when you can actually do the segments of an MBA that are important to you, say technical or accountancy or social media training at a high level online. And so on that side, someone's actually just messaged me, Simon, what's in normal times? Do you remember those normal times? Presumably this was all done face to face. In the short term, if someone wants to deploy you, what's the logistics of it? How are you deploying that training? And hopefully as we get out of the current situation later this year, how will you deploy yourselves, please?
Yeah, we're already running this online, Max. So we've already got a full virtual program of all of these activities and things that we've been talking about on this call. So we've actually flipped it online and face to face now, so we can be fully flexible to clients.
Wow. And what's the ideal sort of client that would, do you think, and I know you'd be honest with me, benefit most from the Apprenticeship College and the Supply Chain Leadership Scheme? What's the ideal type of client for you?
Well, I've got my view. Tilly, what do you think?
I think, apprenticeships, as Simon said, are available to anyone of any age, at any level within a business, which is great. So it can be an established member of staff. The type of business that it's suitable for, you don't have to be a big business and pay into the levy to take advantage of it. You can still take advantage of apprenticeships outside of that. But the supply chain apprenticeship is ideal for anybody that works in an organisation that has a contribution and works within that supply chain function. So anybody that works within that capacity, this programme would work to develop and improve their capabilities, and obviously then in turn improve the business.
Wow. Simon?
Max, just to add something onto what Tilly just said then, I think this is absolutely essential for anyone with a supply chain, to be honest, because the pressure that we've been on or under for the last 12, 18 months has actually made everyone feel a bit insular about their bit. If I just do my bit of the supply chain operation, then we'll be good. Yeah. And actually what we're trying to do here is get people to stand up, lift their head up and look at the whole supply chain. Because guess what? That's where the efficiencies are going to come from, not from your little bit, but actually working collaboratively across a whole supply chain. And that takes a bit more awareness and all the things we've been talking about.
And guys, you look at the complexity and the vast growth that's going to happen in supply chain. In previous broadcasts, we've been talking about the likes of the juggernaut of Amazon that's going to come into the food sector. We've been talking about the growth of the likes of HelloFresh, Gusto, Mindful Chef. There's so many other startups that are coming in to be disruptors. What they're all going to need is really, really good people, and those people need to be trained. So coming back to yourselves, if you can deploy the training of the Apprenticeship College with the Supply Chain Leadership Scheme, it's going to be really good. Employers or employees, how can they get in contact with you to find out more, Tilly?
Yeah, I mean, they just need to get in touch with the Apprenticeship College, and we have a team of people, you know, we'll speak to you about what it is you want to achieve from the apprenticeship, which is really important. But if you go onto our website, theapprenticeshipcollege.com, there is a expression of interest page. You can download our brochures. There's a supply chain brochure on there that you can download, have a read through, see what the content looks like, and then we'll have a chat with you and kind of discuss how that works best for you and your business.
And Simon, how does it work? Have you just got one brochure that fits everything? So whether it be 50 employees or 1,000 employees, do you just try to cram that one thing into that company, or am I completely wrong?
No, not at all. I think, well, Tilly's mentioned it already. We have to get to know our clients and what they're looking for first. And then whilst we'll have a skeleton framework of the things that actually we need to talk about to meet the learning outcomes, we can tailor to some degree the content that we've got so that it's actually right for the client.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point. We do something called DNA. As a training provider, it's really important for us to really understand how a business works. We know not every supply chain business and an individual that works in that is the same. And so we really take the time up front to understand what that business is, how it works, what the culture is, what they want to achieve from their learners being on this program. And then, as Simon said, we then kind of bespoke the content of those workshops to suit that particular need. So it's absolutely relevant to those people. It's not one size fits all.
And as I said in my opener, with the likes of the MDS scheme and Christine Taken, CBE chair of Red Tractor, endorsing what the group has done. And if you just look at the website and see that you guys have done previous work with the likes of Volkswagen, Arriva, House of Commons, Triumph, Decker's Brands, Paper Chase, it goes on. So it's not like you've just started 6 months ago. So you're a very credible business in that respect. Okay, so I want to find out a bit more from Mark and Sabre, if that's okay. So Mark, Sabre, if you could just turn your video back on, that's brilliant. And Tilly, Simon, it's been great talking to you. If you could just turn your videos off. So Mark, I'm just going to start with you. Come on, let's go back in time. We've all got horror stories. What's the worst training that you've ever had as an individual?
So I have had lots of training, as you can imagine, been in logistics, working for one of the largest global 3PLs. And back in the sort of 90s, when I was going through lots of that training, quite often it was sat in front of PowerPoint slides, listening to someone stood behind a lectern and just being talked at max. So that type of training didn't work for me at all. And I quickly got bored of it. So we were very keen when we engaged with the Apprenticeship College that it was nothing like that. And that was one of the things that really attracted me when we started talking to these guys about the ability to tailor a program, the understanding of the business through a DNA day, but also these virtual sessions, the live sessions, the actors on site. It's something a bit different that really gets the people's interest.
Yeah, it's fascinating, that role play, isn't it, Mark? Because I was just going to slightly date you and I. Going back to our training, we've all been inflicted with that training where the bloke is just, sorry, the trainer is just well, in some respects, just preaching at you. The 64-page PowerPoint presentation, and you then get that big folder at the end that as soon as you get back into your office, it just disappears. I think the likes of role playing is so important and so novel, and it actually challenges people. But when people have got that set in their DNA, that's, well, I've done this before. I've done this in a real life training scenario. So surely I can do this when I'm actually on the shop floor, or as Sabre will hopefully tell us, in a real life situation. So you found that, Mark, that actually the training that you're getting from the Apprenticeship College has been very genuine for your team.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, Max, if you ask them the question that you just asked me, the worst training they've ever had would probably be being thrown into a situation where they're forced to role play. Whereas I'm a bit of an extrovert, so I love that sort of stuff. But most people don't, they hate it. I think the critical thing with the Apprenticeship College is it's actors that are playing that. And as Tilly said, you're invited, if you want to put yourself in that situation and correct the actors. So you're actually witnessing a situation that you would be dealing with yourself. So it's a little bit different to being thrown into a situation where you're asked to role play when you don't really want to.
And Mark, Sabre, you look at some examples out there. There's this very great, very well-known example of Amazon, that Amazon do not allow any PowerPoint presentations at any meetings, and the meetings can only have 8 people in them to try and stop fiefdoms and you look at the success of the likes of Amazon. And Mark, you look at your business. You need people who can react. And react quickly, and also think for themselves. So, Sabre, let's come on over to yourself, and just be brutally honest with us, Sabre. How have you found the Apprenticeship College and the training that you've had from them? And please be honest with us.
I think the first thing to mention is just how convenient having the training is. I mean, I work Monday to Friday, kind of 9 to 5 hours, but with a 24-hour business, your work never stops. Being able to take that time out and be able to attend the apprenticeship program on Teams meetings without sacrificing any of your workload is just fantastic.
And so, come on, Sabre, would you recommend it to friends who are potentially thinking about doing a similar career as yourself?
Absolutely.
Okay. And Mark, where can you see the likes of the scheme going? Are you going to continue with it, or are you just, between you and us, are you just going to run with it for 6 months or so, or is it going to be in the DNA of your business for the long term?
So it's definitely something we're looking to expand. This is, as I say, it's not a huge business. It's a 60 million a year, but it's growing all the time. I've worked in large businesses, Max, and traditionally in logistics, you find that there is a big skills gap between people at supervisor level and people who want to go into the next levels of leadership, where you might have big teams working for you. And that's really the gap that we've got in this business at the moment. So that's the part that we're addressing. So we worked with the likes of Tilly and our skills coach who's dedicated to this program, a guy called Scott Flinton as well. And we built the program to include topics that we wanted to include, like strategic thinking, like change management, like managing conflict. All of those types of good things were built into the program because that's the gap that we've got. But that's very much the start of it for us. This is an 18-month program. This is the first 2 cohorts that we've agreed to put through it. But we're very much now starting to look at what would we do next. As I say, we're a growing business. The team's growing all the time. So we very much see this evolving and becoming part of our DNA.
Okay, thank you, Mark. And bang for your buck. In a marketing terms, I've always been taught that if you're going to invest a £1 in marketing, you've got to see a minimum of £3 to £3.50 back. Can you quantify the investment that you've made into this training development? Are you seeing it come back out the other end?
Well, one of the important things and one of the hurdles I had to get over with the other board of directors when we were talking about whether we should do this, Max, was there is an investment, but the investment is relatively small. As Tilly said, financially, it's nothing because traditionally our levy pot was coming in and it was just being viewed as another government tax. So we weren't using it. So we're now using that pot of money to train people, which is exactly the right thing to do. But the time away from the job was the other considerations, particularly for people in front-facing operational roles. So we worked with the Apprenticeship College to tailor the program so the impact on the business was minimal, yet we got maximum benefit from the learning that these individuals are getting. And one of the big things that's coming out of it is the program's designed to have a live project built into it. So the team members will actually work on a project that we have influence in deciding what it is. So it delivers real pound note benefits to the bottom line for the organisation, as well as investing in the individuals like Sabre. So it really is a sort of win-win for us.
Mark, I wasn't aware of that. So going back to our training of old with the bloke with the 64-page PowerPoint, they would always stick you in a corner with a bunch of people you didn't really know or get on with, and you'd do some ridiculous exercise for half an hour. So you're saying with the Apprenticeship College that your colleagues are tasked on a real life challenge for the business that can actually then potentially provide results for the business.
Yes, exactly. And we've got a mixture of people that we purposely selected. So, I mean, Sabre works in operations. There is people from our customer service team, our commercial team, IT, planning. So we've got a wide variety of roles that are in this, and they will be they are working in groups to deliver on these projects. So you've got a very different skill set to a project that might exist, or problem that might exist in operations, yep, or might exist in planning, for example. So you get a number of different angles to tackle that, and that's part of the apprenticeship program and part of the qualification requirements for these guys to deliver against. So yeah, it delivers real benefits to the business.
Brilliant. And Sabre, being in a job, being in a career, I'm picking up more and more. I'm going to just date myself, and I hope I'm not being patronising. But the younger generation, like yourself, it's not all about the buck. It's also about the career and enjoying a business. The fact that Mark and the rest of his directors have actually invested in you and your colleagues with this scheme, does that make you feel more positive to this business and to work for this business for the long term?
It really does. It just shows how much they're willing to invest in me and how much I need to give back to them.
Wow. Mark, can I have a job?
Well, I'll have to see if you qualified, Max.
Well, we know the answer to that. Simon, Tilly, can you come back in? And Mark, stay there, please. Simon, Tilly, I think what was great having Mark and Sabre there was it's all very well the three of us bigging up the Apprenticeship College, but to have real life examples and Mark and Sabre to take time out on a Friday afternoon and actually tell us nuts and bolts that actually the scheme is, don't swear, Max, very, very, very good.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. So come on, guys, I don't want to hold up too much of your time. I'd really like to get a view as to what you want. And this is a real advertorial, why people should bang on the door, Tilly, to sign up to the Apprenticeship College and the Supply Chain Leadership Scheme. Why should people join you, Tilly?
I think Sabre and Mark have kind of said it all there. The purpose of this training is that it enhances what somebody does in their job. And by doing that, obviously they're better at their job. It means the business benefits because everyone is kind of more knowledgeable and more capable in what they're doing. But the other thing that's really important, and Sabre mentioned it there, is when your team are invested in and they have the confidence to do their job properly, they are far more motivated and everyone's happy, win-win. Also, if you don't use this money, you're just going to lose it. So you've paid for it already. It's just that you haven't accessed it yet.
Wow, that's amazing. Simon, views, please.
Yeah, thanks for this opportunity, Max. And just listening to Mark and Sabre, it made me reflect on what learning means. I'm a big, passionate supporter of ongoing learning. And in this case, learning means performance for the business, but also personal growth. And ultimately, that's what I think work brings to us, the ability to grow and to learn and to get better at who we are and what we do. So I think there's some real philosophical and operational benefits to this.
And also, guys, just to summarise, and I've got to get Mark and Sabre to wrap up. I think it is such an important area, especially as we all climb out of this pandemic situation. There's going to be some businesses that absolutely are going to fly, especially around supply chain and especially around logistics. And that's why we need the likes of Mark being forward thinking enough to engage with the likes of Simon and Tilly. And crikey, we need the likes of Sabre, because Sabre is the future. So Mark, training and development. I opened up this broadcast by stating that the companies that we see that invest in their staff see far better turnover, far better profitability, and far better staff retention. Is that true for you and your business?
It certainly is. I mean, we made the decision to start this program just as the pandemic had started, Max. Wow. So a lot of companies would shy away from investing in training and bringing individuals into development during something like this. But we saw it as exactly the opposite. We saw that throughout this pandemic, people are going to want food logistics more and more, and we're going to get growth. But also, as we come out of the back of this, we want to have that real stable platform of solid, well-developed people who are ready to take the step up to the next level to supporting our growth. So it was a big decision to do. But one of the other key benefits that we've found that is sort of really part of that investment is not just the skills and knowledge that people pick up, but it's also the motivation that Sabre talked about and the networking that we've got. Yeah. As I say, we purposely put a variety of different roles into this program, and you can already see the strength that that's creating within the organisation across various levels with teams that didn't previously talk to each other in the way that they do now.
Fascinating. Sabre, we're going to get you to wrap up. We have a lot of graduates that watch these broadcasts. What's your advice to them? Why should they get involved into the logistics sectors, please?
It's really unstoppable. There's nowhere where you can't go in logistics.
Look at that answered that one. And training and development, Sabre, why has that been so important to you, please?
Training's still part of my life. I'm 23 years old. I intend to be that 74-year-old that's still in an apprenticeship.
Fantastic. Guys, I think this has been a really interesting broadcast. I think I'm going to just sum up with them, and I've taken this off Simon and Tilly's website, and there's a quote which states, "We believe that better people equal better business, and all our products are built around that ethos." So I don't think we can finish off with apart from such a strong and powerful statement. So if you want to find out more about the Apprenticeship College and the Supply Chain Leadership Apprenticeship Scheme, Tilly, what's everyone got to do, please?
They can just give us a call. I can tell you the number.
Go on and hit us.
0203 651 4747. Ask for me directly and I can speak to you.
Fantastic. Mark and Sabre, who are the best logistics company in the UK, please?
I would guess it's probably Moran Logistics.
Fantastic. Everyone, well done. This has been fascinating. There's so much to go here with the Apprenticeship College and the Supply Chain Leadership Scheme. So sign up. Everyone, thank you very much for your time and keep safe.
Thank you.
Well done, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.